Hi and welcome to everyone to my channel Easy Painting. So it is easy painting in oil, well I'll try to make it easy for everyone anyway. For those who don't know me, I'm Boris Huguenel and I'm an oil painter for over 30 years now. I do paint in all styles, going from Bob Ross to Monet to Constable, etc, etc. I also like some previous painters, previous styles like Caravaggio and so forth and so on. This is actually a painting I'm preparing in the Caravaggio style at the moment here. But today it's not about Caravaggio or not about this painting. It is about this tree that I'm starting in an impressionistic style, and then I take it to a more photorealistic finish. So this is this tutorial coming now. I hope you enjoy it, and I wanted, before I go and let you watch this tutorial, I would like some of you to leave me comments. I don't have many comments, so I don't know what you guys want to see. I don't know what I can do, prepare, well, for you guys. But so please leave a thumb up, share the videos if you like it, and leave a comment. I would greatly appreciate that. So thank you for those who spend a little time in passing by and watching my videos. I would like the channel to grow, really. I really would like that, because I've got some really great things in the future. I don't want to do too much and getting involved too much if, well, no one likes what I'm doing, and if I'll have to disappear from this channel. So let me know, guys, please. Let me know, put a comment, let me know if you like it, let me know what you would like to see, etc, etc. Okay, anyway, enough of that. I hope you enjoyed that little tutorial, and I will see you in another video very soon. So we'll start by sketching the tree, and I'm using a Conte of Paris and Sanguine France 610 pencil. These pencils have been used many years for sketching. So first of all, I'm trying to make the viewer understand to read a tree like a form and not like a tree. So therefore we are going to still keep a tree-like form, but with keeping in mind the form of a triangle. What we're interested in is a light side and a shadow side. So there is the trunks that I put in. As you can see, it's more a parallelogram than a triangle. But the important thing here is to keep it as the idea of a form and not a tree. When I'm going to block in the tree, of course I will keep in mind the form of the tree, which is not triangular, but the thinking behind the shadow, which I'm tracing now, and the light, is to draw and paint a tree in a much easier way than try to figure out all the million leaves and branches that you can see on a tree. So my light will come from the left the left to the right, so the light will be front left and the shadow at the back. There is a shadow within my light in the front. When I say within, shadow is always different from light, so we need to keep in mind that when we're painting, we need to keep in mind the shadow, the light, the reflected light, and the reflection of the shadow as well. So we need to know what we're painting, if we're painting light, if we're painting shadow at all times. You cannot have the value of shadow in within the tree. I mean within the light, sorry. Or the value of the light within the shadow. So these two have to be completely separate. So although there will be a portion of shadow in the light, it is because, and it actually is more a reflected is the shadow, which is caused by the branches on top. So therefore it will be later on a little lighter. So it's not part of the light, it's part of the reflected shadow. Or I should say cast shadow. That's the real term for it. So to start with, we do the cube. On this cube we have our shadow side plus the reflected light, which is darker, as you can see there. The reflected, sorry, the reflected shadow, or the cast shadow. I will get there, don't worry. It's a cast shadow, which will be darker. Not always, it's not always darker, but here I'll do a bit darker. And now we have the light. My colors are titanium white, cadmium yellow light, sap green, burnt sienna, and cobalt blue ultramarine. So don't ask me why it is called cobalt blue ultramarine, and I got it from Van Gogh. So it's, I suppose there is red in that cobalt blue. That's why. So anyway, so you got a clear picture of what you can see here with this triangle. We've got a shadow side, you got the cast shadow on the floor, and you got the light side. So now we're gonna add another square on top of it, which will be simulate the branches that we are going to put on the tree next, which are coming a bit forward. So therefore we will have the same thing. We will have a shadow, a light, and a cast shadow. So my mixture here are yellow, white, and sap green. I've put in a little bit of the burnt sienna earlier on in that mix. But here you can, so after the shadow we put the cast shadow, which is just like on the floor, is a bit darker, a touch darker, and therefore you can see clearly the shape I represent here. It is a square-ish upon a triangle. And although this is a bit exaggerated, but this is how I see trees. I try to see them in a cubic form, not even in a round form. I try, although I rounded it up a little bit on the left, it's still majorly a cubic form that I can see the shape of my tree in. So next we are doing the tree, and we're using the same mixes, a little bit of yellow, white, sap green, and burnt sienna. So these are my yellow, red and blues, although here I didn't add a blue yet anyway, but I added a little black, as you can see. So the black, as it's and this one is Mars black. No, this is a vine black. So it's semi-transparent. And here I'm doing a yellow with my yellow and burnt sienna and a bit of white. So it's a yellow ochre that I do. And I put here a portion of grass in there quickly. Going from the lightest to the darkest always, so we have got a plane who's flat. It helps to the perspective of the land. So now I'm going to do the shadow of the tree and the tree itself. The tree will be, to start with, in an impressionistic style, which for those who know me know that I'm painting in a big part of my paintings. I'm painting, my style is impressionistic, but not only. So there I've what I have done here is I put a bit of viridian green with burnt sienna to see if I can get a sap, the color of the sap green, and yes, I could do it. So you don't necessarily need to buy sap green. Viridian is transparent as well, and the real burnt sienna is a transparent color as well. Some brand use oxide red. Oxide red and burnt sienna is the same pigment, depending on the brand. Some brands are different, of course, but on most of the brands you will find out that they're the same pigment. So there, very quickly, as you can see, I've put the shadow side. So I bear in mind the shape of the tree still, even if I try to see it as a cube. And there we put the light side. I'm painting thickly, as it's impressionistic, and boldly as well. So there's no detail, as you can see, and often that is a mistake of loads of painters because they see details before they even see the shapes. So that's why they are struggling sometimes to get the landscape done. So you cannot put a roof before you put the walls, and having a good foundation for the next step is very important, and you will see here in this video why. Because when we are going to get a bit more photorealistic on top of this, you will see that without my base, well, I couldn't have gone photorealistic at all. I couldn't have started with hundreds of dots and hoping that there will be a tree appearing in front of me. I'll have to have a good base in order to have a good tree, a tree that reads tree. So there we are. So I blocked in the front branches, canopy I would say, coming out straight away with the light and the shadow straight away. But basically it is exactly like the cube below, with a light and a shadow. And I'm trying to have the form. See here, just put the square on, and on that square, well, there need to be the shadow. And then a cast shadow on the side is darker, naturally darker, because it was darker to start with. But now we can see that there is a part of the tree that comes forward. So now I'll have to concentrate on a little bit more on the shape. So although it's not exactly like the picture. The picture is only there as a reference to help me to paint that tree. That is another mistake often made, is that people stick too thoroughly to the picture, and often it is good to just keep it as a reference, get as close as you want, but allow you some leeways in order to paint nicer trees, nicer bushes, nicer clouds, etc., etc. So just keep your pictures as a reference, nothing more. Don't stick to it 100%. If there's something needs changing, change it. Anyway, let's go back to the tree. So now I've got my main shapes in there, and you can see it already looks like a tree, but with a dimension. As you can see, we've got dimension there. And then now I've looked for the shadow of the tree that we have in the picture. Look for the shadow. I'm actually going to put it on the side a little bit so you can see. Here, I'm just putting it there for a few seconds. Anyway, the mixes are always the same. So if you don't see them, it's not a big deal. But here you can see what I'm trying to achieve. Trying to get the lights where I see the lights, the shadows where I see the shadows. The sky hole we are going to put in later. And as I said, it's not going to look just exactly like the picture, but it's not what I want to show on this video. I just want to show that if you keep it simple and if you keep it like a shape, you will be able to paint better trees. That is my aim. That is the aim of this video. So anyway, we're 16 minutes in. We're gonna add the trunks, and then we are going to put a few sky holes in there. Then the whole thing will dry for a day, and we put some details on top of it. For you, you're not going to have to wait a day, because I will do it straight after this, so don't worry. So to start with, we are going to put in a sky, and again I'm going to fast forward this very quickly. Actually, I'm going to skip a big step of it, because all of a sudden you will have the sky appear. Here we go. Why did I put a sky in? Only so you can realize that you need the surroundings to really be able to paint something properly. So now we put some sky holes in there. Don't forget to stay a little darker than the sky itself, as the light is less light passing through, therefore it will be darker. So I'm not spending loads of time on those holes. We are going to redo them once we put the details on those trees a bit later. But for those who like to paint in an impressionistic way, you have an impressionistic tree that can stay as it is in your landscapes, if that is what you're after. Later on we could add a few more hues, different brush strokes with the same value, different hues, to make it a little bit more interesting. But that would be it, and you basically would have a tree painted like an impressionistic way. And if I stay within my light and within my shadow, with only shadows and light and reflected light and cast shadows, you'll be fine. You won't lose the form, and you still will have a tree at the end of the painting of your tree. So just put a few leaves here and there. Have to be careful not to overdo this when you do impressionistic style, that is. Of course, if you paint more realistic, then like we are going to do a bit later on, we are going to overdo those leaves. But all depends on what you're looking for, and I pushed this as far as I could in the impressionistic style, just to show you that this is how you could leave your tree, as we said previously. And then I'm going to show you how with this tree you can go a little bit more photorealistic. So here you just saw a little bit of liquid, and I will, this painting is dry, I need to say that. It went really fast from one to the other, but this paint now is dry. Here I add a bit of sap-green and the black with my liquid, and I'm going to dot all over my painting, all over with that same mixture. I will add a little bit more black for the shadow side, but just a touch more black. Otherwise it is all the same tint. But it is important to now get some more shadow, to have some more volume. And you'll see just by doing this, you will already see a 3-dimension, not that we didn't have one before, but some leaves and more details coming on. Okay, this dotting of color is also to have depth in your tree when you're going to put some leaves on top of it. So it is a very, very important step. So once I put this glaze all over, I'll let it dry just for a few minutes, like 10-15 minutes maybe, just before, so it gets a little sticky, just before I'll carry on with the leaves. I think actually I could have gone a little bit darker. I haven't. Well, it's still gonna work out. And bear in mind that this is only a quick step. I'm just going to show you what you can do. So I have done a mixture here with my yellow, sap green and white, a teeny bit of blue, sorry, red, and there we go. Now with a fan brush, using only the corner, I'm dotting. Oh, it's not really dotting. I do some kind of triangles that touch each one another, and some not, some touch, some don't touch. Has to be a little random. If you work a bit quicker, it works better as well. The important thing is that you follow the picture without sticking to every single detail, but you follow the picture with where the light is, where the shadow is, and you just start dotting. Look at my brush strokes. They are like mini triangles. Can you see? So I'm using only the corner of the brush. Someone to look up if you like photorealistic paintings is Michael James Smith. I know some of you who watch this little video know him already. So this is a little bit the same style that he uses. I'm only making things a little easier because I don't really look into perfect photorealistic effect. I just want it to look a bit more real with loads of leaves, and that's it. And again, this is to show you that from one method you can jump to another. And the most important idea to keep in all that is the forms. Without the forms that we would have worked on previously, even if you do photorealistic, you wouldn't be able to do something photorealistic afterwards. So keep this in mind. Always start to paint whatever you paint, bearing in mind the form of the object, not the object itself. Don't think like a tree, think form, and you will see you will have great success in your landscapes if you think that way. So sometimes I vary a little bit, but it's not much in it. A bit lighter or a little darker. As I go further down, I go a little darker, but there is not much into it. Not much. You can see my brush strokes touch sometimes they don't. But you can already see how by doing this you start to have a tree who looks quite real appearing in front of your eyes. The mixture has a little liquid, but really little, just enough to make the paint flow and stick to the canvas, that's all. Not too much. So I maybe could have cut out a bit more of the video so you're not bored, but I decided to leave most of it. It's already fasted forward. It's ×2, I believe. So you wouldn't have to be bored too long. There is some bits that I could have done a little darker, maybe down there. I didn't. It still works. Anyway, you get the gist. It's a good method, and you can do this with a brush as well. Now we are going to do it with a round brush. I'm going to show you. I'm gonna get some leaves down with a brown brush, or you can do it all with the fan brush. As long as you got, as you can see there, all these strokes touching each other, just a little bit, leaving enough darks as well, very important. Having a little smaller, little bigger leaf variation is always nice, and more colors is nice as well. I could have put some brown leaves with it too, or some greener leaves. I will put some highlights, a bit lighter leaves. I will also put some darker leaves in the shadows, but what I mean with in the light, I could have put another color. So there we have the shadow, and the shadow I've added blue, and a little black to it. And just where the light stops, I'll start to put a few of these. You can see them appear there, and that really rounds up that tray then. So there's only a few minutes to go. I will carry on with some videos on this channel, but it is not progressing much. Some of you are really delighted with what I put on, but most of you don't give me any comments. Oh, here we go. Here we're using the brush, so it's a round number 1 or number 2, and all I'm doing is dotting in some leaves, but I'm flattening the brush a little bit also. I'll probably show you in a minute, to have still that triangle effect. So I was saying, yeah, so I'm not sure if you like it or not. I'd like a comment, please. I'd like you to tell me if you like that sort of videos or not, so I can work on it. If I got no comments, I cannot do anything about it. If you like the content of it, good, let me know. If not, maybe put suggestion on, and let me know what you would like to see, so I can work on that too. Soon, I mentioned it last time, very soon, there be a Patreon channel that I'm gonna, I would say my Patreon account is already open, but it is in French, and I'm gonna put a tier in English, and we will have a mixture of different style of painting videos on there very soon. Adding some shadows. See there, in the shadows you always have a bit more foam like leaves. as you can see on the picture, and as you can see me putting on the canvas there. Again with some random strokes. Okay, adding a few lighter ones still. So here you can see I flatten the brush. Oops. I flatten the brush, and this is the result. See, many triangles, some a little bigger than others. I put some darkers on there and you see the result. But this is basically what I'm doing. There we go. Smaller and bigger leaves. There we go. Sorry about that. It's very shaky. You got the idea. So now we are going to put a few sky holes in there, and that will be it. A few sky holes, and this little tutorial will come to an end. The difference here with sky holes in a photorealistic tree is you put many more in. There you can go mad on sky holes. There will be between the canopies, the highlight and the darks, often they will appear there. Also it depends if it's a group of trees or if the tree is by itself. There is by itself, so it will have quite a few sky holes. So if you keep your paintings in an impressionistic way, then sky holes need to be minimal, because you can break a form very quickly and destroy a form very quickly. But here, in this photorealistic way, sky holes are permitted. You can go a little mad on it. Okay, so adding a few darks, a few highlights now, just a few, same system, and just on top, not the very top, but on top of some of the light leaves. Not too many, just have a little bit of a glow here and there, where the sunshine will just caress some leaves. And that will be it. So that's coming into tutorial. So I'd like to thank everyone who is giving me a thumb up, who is sharing, who is commenting as well. So please leave me more comments so I know which direction to go. And thank you very much to everyone for being with me. I wish you a fantastic day and a very good painting.